Hello, and welcome to our Renters' Rights Act video on the right to request pets. This is one of the most talked about changes under the Renters' Rights Act and tenants' stronger rights to request pets in rental properties. So under the new legislation, landlords must now consider pet requests reasonably and can no longer automatically refuse pets without a valid reason. It does not mean that every property must allow pets, but it does mean landlords and agents now need to properly assess requests on a case-by-case basis. For example, factors such as the type and size of the property, lease restrictions, property suitability, communal areas, health and safety concerns, and the type or number of pets being requested may all become relevant when considering an application. One important point landlords also need to understand is that personal preferences alone are unlikely to be considered sufficient grounds for refusal. For example, if a landlord personally has allergies to animals, that would not usually be considered a reasonable basis to refuse a pet request, as the property is occupied by the tenant rather than the landlord themselves. One of the concerns many landlords have raised is property damage and financial protection. Historically, some landlords may have requested a higher deposit where pets were involved. However, since the Tenant Fees Act came into force on the 1st of June 2019, tenancy deposits in England have generally been capped at 5 weeks' rent for most tenancies. That means landlords are now limited in the additional financial protection they can request, even where pets are involved. However, tenants still remain financially responsible for any damage caused by pets during the tenancy, excluding fair wear and tear. That means if damage occurs beyond what would reasonably be expected throughout normal use of the property, tenants can still be held liable for repair or replacement costs in line with the tenancy agreement and relevant deposit regulations. Another important point for landlords is that our Rent Protect and Legal Expenses service can also provide additional support in certain situations involving property damage. Subject to the policy terms and conditions, where damage caused during the tenancy exceeds the amount protected by the tenancy deposit, the policy can assist with legal expenses. This provides landlords with additional reassurance, particularly as deposit caps now limit the upfront financial protection that can be requested at the start of a tenancy. So what are we doing about it as agents? We are helping landlords navigate these changes in a fair, balanced and compliant way. That includes assessing pet requests reasonably and consistently, advising landlords on pet clauses within tenancy agreements, reviewing property suitability on a case-by-case basis, discussing insurance considerations where appropriate, keeping clear written records of requests and decisions, encouraging open communication between landlords and tenants from the outset. We've also created a formal pet application process for tenants requesting permission to keep a pet within a property. As part of that process, tenants are required to complete a pet application form, providing detailed information including the type and breed of pet, the age and size of the pet, how the pet will be cared for, how long the pet is likely to be left alone during the day, exercise and supervision arrangements, whether the pet has caused previous issues within rental accommodation, and any relevant vaccination or behavioural information where appropriate. This allows landlords to make more informed and reasonable decisions based on the individual circumstances of the request, rather than making assumptions. We're also helping landlords understand that proper referencing, regular inspections and proactive tenancy management are becoming increasingly important under the new legislation. The key is balancing responsible pet ownership with protecting the property and ensuring the tenancy remains sustainable for both landlords and tenants. If you've got any questions on this one, please do not hesitate to contact us.